If you're anything like me, you are absolutely obsessed with Trader Joe's soup, and now you have a ton of mason jars lying around your house that you've been saving because maybe one day you'll have some sort of use for them. Well, I'm here to tell you that today is that day. I'm going to show you how you can use crochet to repurpose all of your mason jars. If you don't know me already, my name is Kennedy and I create crochet and craft content, and I'm going to show you how you can go from this to this. Now you can use this as a secret storage jar, decoration, or even as a lamp if you put a little electric light inside. It also makes a great gift for friends or family members or even for yourself. Now without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. For materials, you're going to need 2 different colored yarns, one for the mushroom cap and one for the stem. Your yarn can be any weight or type, but I do recommend that you go with a stiff yarn like cotton for the mushroom cap to help give it some structure. I'm using Lily Sugar and Cream 100% cotton yarn in red and cream cotton yarn by Loops and Threads. Grab a crochet hook that matches the size listed on your yarn label. You'll need a tapestry needle, scissors, and a stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use an earring or a bobby pin. You'll also need a clean jar in any size. For some reason, my jar is still smelling like tomato soup even though I already cleaned it. So I'm washing it again, this time with baking soda, soap, hot water, and a couple of drops of tea tree oil. Then I shake it all up and let it sit for a couple of hours before rinsing it out. Before we get into the crochet, we are going to stretch. It is super important to take care of your wrists. So do a couple of wrist rolls in one direction and then reverse. Pull your fingers back until you feel a nice stretch along your forearms. Now that we're all stretched out, we are ready to crochet the mushroom stem. To make this, we're going to create a circle and then do rows of just regular crochet to create the tube that will cover our jar. To start our circle, we're going to put a slip knot on our hook and then chain 4. Or you can create a magic circle. Then we're going to place a stitch marker around our chain. This will help us identify where we need to put our upcoming stitches. Next, we're going to slip stitch into the very first chain that we made. So yarn over, pull through, and continue pulling through that loop. For this tutorial, I'm using double crochet. So to start the next round, chain 3. This chain counts as one of 12 double crochets that we'll be doing. To start the next stitch, yarn over and place your hook into the center of the circle where our stitch marker is. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. Continue placing double crochets into the circle center until you have a total of 11 plus your chain, which makes a total of 12 stitches. Now, I'm a self-taught crochet girly and I learned how to crochet a circle from Bella Coco. So if you need a more detailed instruction on how to make this circle, I'll link their video in the description. Otherwise, meet me back when you've finished your 11 double crochets. Okay, now that we've finished our 11 double crochets plus our chain, I'm going to close the round by placing a slip stitch into the top of our chain 3. So, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and keep pulling through. We want to continue making our circle bigger, and to do that, we will be adding more stitches in each round. So, to start the next round, chain 3 again and place a double crochet into the same stitch as that chain 3. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2 again to do that double crochet. This counts as an increase because we have 2 double crochets in the same stitch. In this round, each stitch gets an increase, so we're going to repeat that in the next stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. So we're going to add another double crochet into that stitch. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that is an increase. There are 2 stitches in that same stitch, and we're just going to repeat that for the rest of the row. So pause the video and meet me back when you've put 2 double crochets into each stitch. You should have 24 stitches once you're done. Now that we've reached the end of the row and have 24 stitches, we're going to slip stitch into the top of our chain 3 to close our round. To start our next round, we're going to chain 3 and then place a double crochet into the same stitch. So we're starting our round with an increase. So once you've chained 3, yarn over and insert your hook into that same stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. For this round, we're going to be alternating between increases and just regular crochet. So we just did an increase, and in this next stitch, I'm putting 1 double crochet into that stitch. Now the next stitch is going to be an increase. So put 2 double crochets into that same stitch. The next stitch will be 1 double crochet. As you can see, there's a pattern here, and so I just want you to alternate between an increase and 1 double crochet. Increase, 1 double crochet until you reach the end of the row. So pause the video and meet me back once you've finished all of your stitches. We've reached the end of another round, so you know what that means. We're inserting our hook into the top of our chain 3 and slip stitching to close our round. For the next round, chain 3 to start and place a double crochet into the same stitch as that chain 3. So just like the last round, we're starting with an increase, but for this round, I'm going to add 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches instead of 1 like we did in the last round. So in the next stitch, place 1 double crochet, and then in the next stitch after that, place 1 double crochet. The next stitch will be an increase, so put 2 double crochets into the same stitch. The pattern for this round is an increase, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, increase, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, increase, and so on. So keep doing this pattern of stitches until you reach the end of the round and meet me back once you're all done. Now that we've done a couple of rounds, we want to measure our circle against the bottom of our jar. Once your circle is big enough to cover the bottom of your jar, you can stop increasing your circle. So I'm going to be stopping at 3 rounds. But your yarn or jar size is probably different than mine, so you may need to do more or less rounds than me. When your circle covers the bottom of your jar, you're ready to move on to the next step. For more instruction on how to continue building your circle, you can check out Bella Coco's video that I have linked in the description. But the TLDR is that for each round, you're going to add another double crochet in between your increases. So for example, the second round, we did an increase and then 1 double crochet. The third round, we did an increase and then 2 double crochets. So the fourth round would be an increase plus 3 double crochets and so on. Now that your circle is big enough to cover the bottom of your jar, we're ready for the next step, which is to place 1 double crochet in every stitch. So start with a chain 3 and then in the next stitch place 1 double crochet and continue putting 1 double crochet into each stitch until you reach the end of the round. Once you've finished all your double crochets, you can already see that the stitches are starting to stand straight up, which is exactly what we want. We're going to end this round just like all the other ones by slip stitching into the top of your chain 3. Repeat this process until you have enough rows to cover your jar. I ended up doing about 11 rows, but you might need to do more or less depending on your yarn and jar size. Just make sure you do enough so that your jar is completely covered, and then once you slip that tube on your jar, your mushroom stem is finished. The next part of the tutorial is the mushroom cap. To make this, we're going to use the same techniques that we use for the mushroom stem. We'll start with a flat circle that's big enough to cover the lid of our jar, and then we're going to alternate between rows of regular crochet and rows where we do increases because we want the mushroom cap to flare out and not be straight like the mushroom stem. Just like we did at the beginning, we're going to create a flat circle by placing a slip knot on our hook and then chaining 4. Then you're going to slip stitch into the very first chain you made, so insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull through again. Next, chain 3 and then place 11 more double crochets into the center of your circle, which makes 12 stitches because your chain 3 counts as a stitch. So pause the video, finish your 11 double crochets, and meet me back for the next step. I finished my 11 double crochets and I slip stitched into the top of my chain 3 to close that round. The next step is to increase your circle until it's just a little bit bigger than your lid. This is what 3 rounds look like, but I actually want to expand it a little bit more, so from here I'm going to add 1 more row. And this is what it looks like on the jar. From here, we're going to alternate between rows of regular crochet where we're just putting 1 double crochet in each stitch, and then we'll switch to a row where we're doing increases. And by alternating between these 2 types of rows, it allows us to expand the mushroom cap vertically and horizontally at the same time, giving us that flared structure we're looking for. Okay, we have our circle, and I wrote down what I've done so far to increase the circle, which I recommend that you do as well. For context, I did my starting round of my chain 3 plus 11 double crochets, then a round with increases in each stitch. The next round was an increase and then 1 double crochet, and the last round I did was an increase and then 2 double crochets. Next, I'm going to do a row of regular crochet where I put 1 double crochet in each stitch. So go ahead and do that and then meet me back for the next round. Here's a progress check. This is what the mushroom cap looks like after that round. Next, we want to create some of that flared structure. Therefore, we will be doing increases in our next round. Keep in mind you might have a different yarn or jar size than me, which is going to slightly affect our next steps. But the general idea is that you want to continue the pattern of increases like we did when we made the flat circle. So as you can see on my sticky note, for my last increase row, I did an increase and then 2 double crochets. For my next row of increases, I'll be doing an increase and then 3 double crochets. So I went from 2 to 3. With all of that in mind, as long as you're building on your previous increase row, you are on the right track, even if your row pattern doesn't match mine. That's why it's super helpful to write down what you've already done so you can keep track and you know what to do next. So like I just mentioned, because my previous increase row had 2 double crochets, in this increase row, I'm going to do an increase and then 3 double crochets and just repeat that pattern until I reach the end of the round. After that round of increases, our mushroom cap structure is really taking shape. If you wanted, you could stop here for that button mushroom look. It's totally up to you, but I'm going to make my mushroom cap a little bigger. Because I just did a round of increases, my next round will be regular crochet. So chain 3 and put 1 double crochet in each stitch. For my next round, I'm going to do increases. So I'll chain 3 and put a double crochet in that same stitch to create an increase, and then put 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches and repeat until I reach the end of that round. The row after that, I'll do regular crochet where I just put 1 double crochet in each stitch. This is what the mushroom cap looks like after I've finished those rows. You can continue alternating between rows of increases and regular crochet if you want yours to be bigger, but I like the look of this, so the next optional step is to add some spots. Now, I chose to do little hearts because I am tired of crocheting circles at this point. The tutorial I used will be linked in the description. My only tip is to make sure that the tail on your spots is really long so you can sew them onto your mushroom cap. After you've sewn all of your optional spots on, it's time to assemble it all together. Now, I'm not sure if this is the best way to attach the cap to the lid. If you have a better idea, please let me know in the comments. I'm using a pair of scissors to saw a hole into the middle of my cap by just using a sort of twisting motion. Then I cut a long piece of yarn and thread one end through the cap. I thread the other end of the string about an inch away, and then I pop both ends into the hole and make a whole bunch of knots until it's secure. You can also add some hot glue, but that's optional. Now your mushroom is ready to be used. You can use it to hide your money, your candy, or even turn it into a lamp if you have an electric tea light. I was too lazy to buy one, but I put some fairy lights in my jar so you could get a sense of what it looks like as a lamp. And that's the end of the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this project helps you get rid of some of your extra jars and declutter your home a little bit. I also love this project because you can decorate it in so many different ways, really make it your own. So if you choose to recreate this project, I would absolutely love to see it. Please tag me on Instagram or TikTok. Literally, anytime I see somebody make one of my patterns, I get so excited. I have lots of new videos planned, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos.